Hello everyone, welcome back to Boujee Boondockers. In part one, you saw us as newbie RVers.
Which we still are.
Here we are, look! Our Jacobs! Boujee Boondockers on the road. Very first time RVing on the road. It is, yep, very first time. We haven't done this ever.
In our first video, we took you on the journey of how we got started and the trips we took along the way to prepare us for the adventure we are taking you in this video.
The lessons learned from part one were of tremendous help.
So loud.
But there were certainly more challenges to come. You'll see what we mean.
Oh yeah, you will. All that preparation was for our longest and furthest trip we coined the spooky tour of the Northeast. This time we take you with us to
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Salem, Massachusetts, Sleepy Hollow, New York, Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia, and
the scariest and most haunted city in America, Savannah, Georgia.
along the way we made a couple of stops in North Carolina and New Jersey to visit family, which is always great.
Always. Thank you for joining us for part 2 adventures. Now let's hook it and book it.
Current situation, our car has died on us. This might be the end of our tour of the Northeast, Florida, right before it started.
One eternity later.
So, there's a couple of lessons we have learned on our day 2 of our trip.
One is make sure the trailer battery is actually holding a charge. Also make sure that you have water in your reservoir tank.
Always have water in...
Have some water,
not all the way.
not all the
Not
way.
all the way. Have enough water for travel.
Yeah, so that way if you use the bathroom, you can actually flush it. And also not forget to leave some water in your black tank. Because we flushed out the entire tank, cleaned it out because we were having a sensor issue, and we were so excited that we fixed the sensor issue that we left home without having water in the black tank at all. You know, we paid for it today also because aside from the truck breaking down, the lift wasn't working. We had no proper power for the refrigerator. We got lucky.
Okay, it could have been worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely could have been worse. So we're making up time now. We're on our way to our next destination, which is Pennsylvania, California.
We're in Virginia.
Virginia is for lovers.
See, this is what you think of when you're talking a road trip, you know?
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah, we're on a highway, but
If you want to be on any highway,
this would be one.
this is a beautiful one to be.
A few moments later.
Current situation. Super dark out here at 10:30. We're setting up the camp now. Luckily it's nice pavement. Super dark. Are we good?
Hurt my wrist.
Oh no.
All right, so this is our first day in Caledonia. Definitely a beautiful state park. From what we can see, we're getting ready to go exploring. Last night, though, our intention was to leave North Carolina at 6 a.m. yesterday, but that did not work out well for us. We ran into some car trouble, and we ended up having to get the car towed, serviced. Pretty much was praying that we were going to get it back and still be able to make our trip. We did at 3.
We left at 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m. Took the back road.
Yes.
Route 77, Interstate 81, up through the Virginia mountains and everything.
It was really nice.
Amazing drive.
What we saw was pretty enough.
Yeah, I
But-
could only imagine during the fall.
Yeah, the fall. That
You
would have
know.
been amazing.
It definitely was still amazing yesterday.
Yeah.
Then we got up to
West Virginia.
West Virginia. It started getting dark, and the entire rest of the ride up here was complete white knuckle.
White knuckle. It was raining, downpour. Not a little drizzle. It was downpour.
It was like a Florida rainstorm.
Yeah.
Visibility was maybe up to 5 feet in front of you.
With the fog, it was horrible. And the
Combine
rain.
that with the crosswinds up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was-
it took everything to stay on the road. We finally got here at 11. Let's show you our site.
Yeah, this is a nice spot. If you ever want to visit Caledonia State Park, this is a nice spot.
Here we are. We're in the exact same location where we first discovered Gettysburg
In
in
2012.
while we were on a road trip
With the
our-
boys. Yep.
We just took a selfie in the same position that we took with each other back in 2012.
Yep.
What do you think of this trip so far?
We went through the driving auto tour of the Civil War, the battle that took place here, and to stop at each stop was incredible, and overlooking everything and knowing the history, just to walk through those steps and see all the monuments dedicated to the soldiers that were fighting. It really puts everything in perspective of
You talk about perspective, the size, geographical size of the entire thing is humongous.
I really enjoyed seeing Little Big Top, where you're overlooking the valley. And
Which they call Dead Valley.
can imagine
the carnage that was seen there, the battle that was going on at that, overlooking that valley. That was breathtaking to see.
We paid a visit over to the National Cemetery also. Over 650 just numbered graves because they
And
didn't know
graves. Yeah.
who those soldiers were, and thousands more. However, you don't get that full feel of how it is because the gravestones are actually flat and they are somewhat, the grass is above them, so it's hard to really see them. It's really somber.
So just leaving the bathroom now and going right there to my trailer. It's very convenient. It's literally right there. So if you ever come down to Normandy Farms, I highly suggest lot number 18. However, it is uneven, so you have to put blocks. But, I mean, come on, the convenience of it all. Literally right here, laundry, bathroom, shower, and right over here, right now they're doing a splash pad for little kids. It's a pool. There's a pool in there. There's games. There's pool table. You name it, it's in there. Okay, we're in Normandy Farms. First impressions, what do you think?
Really nice.
This is one of the prettiest we've stayed in. This place right here has jacuzzi, sauna, indoor pool, arcade, a creativity room. Really cool. Yes, it's cold. It was, how? 39 degrees.
30.
And it continues to drop, and it was raining and it's cold. So I'm cold. Right, honey?
Mm-hmm.
This is also a farm, like a petting zoo farm. So I want to see the donkey. On to find that donkey. The animals are out. Look at them. Hi, babies. dish right now that we've tried here in Salem at the Witch Side Tavern. Best bruschetta ever.
Bruschetta.
Today is Wednesday the 9th. We leave tomorrow. Yes, today is actually the first day in 4 days, 4 or 5 days, that we've actually had sun. Even though we have sun, it is freezing out here.
Currently, so it's 35 currently, and it says it feels like 27.
It was so cold last night that another lesson was learned. The lines got frozen.
Yeah.
So right now we're defrosting the lines as we wait.
Luckily, it's sunny.
We went to Salem yesterday. We spent the entire day. It was freezing.
Yes.
It was absolutely a drencher. It was
rained.
raining. It was
Cold, sleet, rain. Oh my God.
It was.
I don't miss it. Sorry.
It was
I know
rough.
people love the cold and the snow. I am not that person. That's why I moved to Florida, because I do not like that cold. And I forgot how cold it is in early spring. I was thinking, hey, a light jacket, nice cool weather. No, it's freezing. Freezing.
You know, you combine the cold with the wet, and it just made it miserable. Really,
And what was
really.
interesting is we went to Howard Street Cemetery. That was our first stop.
Yes.
And so we get there, and it was fine. It wasn't rainy. It wasn't cold when we got there. So we go to Howard Street Cemetery, and all of a sudden the temperature drops, and then the rain starts. And I'm like, oh, great, perfect timing.
We found the second cemetery. It was called the
Charter Street.
Charter Street Cemetery. It's the oldest cemetery in the city, and it happens to be located directly adjacent to the memorial.
The Witch Memorial.
The Witch Memorial, which really isn't a witch memorial, but we'll talk about it some more. That features the 19 people that were hung.
And crushed. And one person who was crushed.
And one person who was crushed to death. We were hungry. We haven't eaten. So we went to
the Witch Side Tavern. The bruschetta there.
Bruschetta.
Talk about good. Yummy in my tummy. Give me some more. I want that now.
Yeah, can actually do that right now.
So good.
Now on to Salem.
Oh, Salem?
The city of Salem.
We thought it would be more like St. Augustine, since it has such history, and the way St. Augustine continues to have it preserved. It's more like New York, where there are pockets of historical sites, but the majority is modern, with large buildings and
graffiti.
It's a city.
It's a city. The novelty of the movies did not exist there at all. It was very different.
This is the place, the hub for Halloween. So if you're going there and you want to witch out, this is the place.
And party out. It definitely.
It's a party town.
It has a party town.
Party town vibe.
Irish pubs everywhere, breweries everywhere. It absolutely was. Very creative.
Yeah, very artistic.
They were very creative, absolutely. We picked up a couple of pieces that we found that we didn't see anywhere else. The sad part was to learn that the Salem, the witch trials actually occurred in the city of Salem, so Salem proper. But everything else, the accusations and everything, was actually in Salem Village.
Which is different. It's a different.
which is a different area.
Yeah.
In fact, they changed their
Danvers?
name from Salem Village to another name because they don't want to even be recognized as that. We understand, after meeting with that one person at the cemetery and
He was
him
so
giving
knowledgeable.
us the breakdown of exactly what occurred and everything, it really shined the light on the stuff that occurred there shouldn't be celebrated or anything. It's really, really horrendous. And I can understand why they made no point of preserving any of that stuff. The location where the people were hung, buried, none of that was preserved. They only have an idea where it occurred, and they actually built the residential area on top of it and a drugstore, I think he said. I alluded to the memorial. They put the memorial in downtown Salem.
To
It
pay
was
homage to the people who passed, who were
it did, but
the
it fell.
victims.
It honestly fell short.
1985. That's when they actually did the put up the memorial site.
Yeah, and the memorial site is actually lacking. A lot of the names were barely visible.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah,
Maybe because of time and everybody going there and
every single person there is taking advantage of this opportunity.
the shops. Yeah.
The shops, they have
Witchy themes, everything.
everywhere. Museums. I think you were going to a museum to see artifacts and things like that, and it's not. It's mannequins and
Portraying the
yeah,
history.
Yeah, recreations of the things. Yeah, I could definitely understand why they didn't want to preserve any of that stuff.
It's horrible.
What was
The
done was
situation
horrible. And the horror extends far beyond the 19 who were hung and crushed. You're talking about hundreds of people that were
Here locally alone, not in Europe.
in Sweden, and one day they decapitated 71 people just on the conviction of witchery. But here, they imprisoned hundreds, and
Children, including children, mind you. And there are children who have passed during that time period.
as a direct result
As
of
a
the
result.
incarceration of their parents and things like that. Mothers could not feed their newborns, and so as a result, the newborns succumbed. People that were found innocent of witchcraft, they remained in prison because you have to pay for those court fees, and now you also got to pay for your jail cell. It's hundreds of people were impacted by this.
1692 was not a good year for them.
However, and I wish we got his name.
I know, he was awesome.
The one person we're talking about at the cemetery,
Charter Street Cemetery.
He did shine a positive light on it, in that, the one good thing that came out of this was that it got so extreme and everything that they ended it, and they ended it everywhere here in the U.S. So at 1692, it all came to an end. It seemed like it was getting ready to touch the governor. So
Yeah, allegedly the governor's wife at the time was accused, and that's when supposedly the whole thing ended. Too close to home, I guess.
But on a positive note, the people out here are actually really, really nice. Very inviting.
Friendly.
Tomorrow we'll be moving on to our next stop, which is going to be Sleepy Hollow.
Here we come. I'm not looking forward to the cold. I'm sorry. I don't like the cold.
We're going to strap down the Boujee RV way better this time, since it's going to be going through another roller coaster ride.
God.
It's insane.
These
This is
potholes.
just the roads. Just the roads are that bad.
Over here, it's
Rough and stop and go.
like, oh God, no.
So tomorrow we'll be heading over to Sleepy Hollow, and we'll pick back up with you guys then.